Hello and welcome to our podcast. I'm Risa,
I'm stoked to be here.
also known as Ariana, and we're the
That too.
Krolmeister sisters, and this is our podcast. Just as a reminder, this podcast is rated T for teen for strong language and mature themes.
And
weird dances.
And for weird dances.
For weird dances.
If you don't want weird dances in your Nancy Drew or Garfield podcast, that's right, 2 episodes worth of Garfield jokes. Then please head on over to hers very own podcast, Unlocked, where they talk exclusively about Nancy Drew and Nancy Drew themed shit.
Very true.
So true.
So what are we going to talk about now, sister? Today, on this fine episode, number 37.
Oh shit, who was it who suggested?
Nancy-Who.
Nancy Who on Tumblr suggested that today we talk about how we feel about the different writers of the different games. Which, hey guys, if you didn't know, I, Ariana, am a writing person.
A writing person,
A
not
writing
an author.
person.
A writing person.
No, a writing person. Therefore, I have very strong opinions.
So, thankfully, Nancy Who broke this down for us on the different writers for different games. Apparently, this is something that people talk about a lot in the community. So, that's
wonderful
good to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad people are talking about it, so they're not just like the Nancy Drew writers. They actually know their names, which is great. Good to know.
Yeah, no, that was very helpful to like actually form our thoughts and opinions, and I hadn't really realized the stylings of each one. And so as soon as I saw the breakdown, I was like, "Oh shit, those stylings are super obvious."
Yeah.
So yeah, let's
start from the very beginning.
Yeah,
from the very beginning. A very good place to start. Secrets Can Kill, the original, written by
Secrets Can Kill.
Can kill. They can.
They can kill. Okay.
So Secrets Can Kill is written by Anna Rother and Lisa Smith. Not much to say about the first game, the original, because it wasn't very good.
It wasn't. It was not.
The dialogue is stilted at best.
Additionally, what's his name? Who's at the diner?
Daryl.
Superbly rapey. Hadn't really realized it. Superbly, no.
Yeah, he's really creepy. Also, it's a very classic mystery in the fact that there's no way to guess who did it, because you don't meet him until the end when he gets tackled.
When he's a shadow person.
Yeah. So that's how we feel about that.
We feel was covered by the play and movie Murder by Death much better.
Yeah. Yes. Very, very funny.
Anyway, moving forward, let's see. Stay Tuned for Danger is just Robert Rydell?
Rydell?
Rydell. And
Stay Tuned for Danger is weird. It's a weird game. It doesn't make very much sense.
Then we move forward to.
I never understood Dwayne's motivations whatsoever in either game he's in.
I don't know, man. Dwayne is an enigma wrapped in a potato. I prefer mine. Then there's Robert Rydell and Kate Rydell, who do Message in a Haunted Mansion, which is not a bad game by any means. I love that game, but it is super bland. It is the mashed potatoes of games.
I was going to say it's very milquetoast.
Apparently, I am very into potatoes right now.
Never mind.
It's just a thing.
Continue.
But I think my favorite part about it is mostly its historical tidbits, and it has some fun ghosty stuff. But yeah, bland characters, bland dialogue. It's just Message in Haunted Mansion's not a Nancy Drew at its best, albeit I still have a soft spot for it.
Yeah, Next two were written by Aaron Brown. So Treasure in the Royal Tower and Final Scene. Treasure in the Royal Tower.
Again, soft spot for it.
Yes.
It's the first one we ever finished.
However, it is not very good.
It's not super exciting or memorable. The dialogue is
stilted. I mean, that's partially that's partially the voice actor's issue. I'm looking at you, Lisa.
Okay, yeah, very good point. But at the same time, it's like you can only do so much with certain dialogue. Like, what are you supposed to do? But at the same time, it gave us Professor Hotchkiss, and she does wonders with the dialogue, which I don't know if that's like the actress just happened to like go off script and they went, shh, no, we're just gonna let her go.
Yeah.
Lonnie, can you just react? I mean, I guess. Yeah, just react. What does she mean by the hot thing?
We don't have any couscous.
I don't know what to say to this.
Pretty much.
Sorry. But yeah.
Yeah, and like there's almost good backstory, like Dexter's stuff, but too bad he then has no actual
there's nothing from it.
No. Like he's not a touching character really, as is.
Yeah.
So it's just like.
So we learn it and it's interesting and it's like, oh, poor baby. But then there's like nothing comes of it. So it's like, okay, let's torch the library. I don't care anymore.
Pretty much.
And then Final Scene, the opposite with the old person is that he's an interesting villain.
Yeah.
Villain, quote unquote, and that he's a crazy person, and it's so depressing. And it's a very interesting twist. The characters are stereotypical, but still very much themselves.
Just very stilted, though. I mean, we get some great lines as, don't let the turkeys get you down.
Don't take any wooden nickels.
Right
fight
on.
The man.
That was Fight the Power.
Whatever, Fight the Power.
Whichever it is, it's like, wow.
Cool Beans.
Cool Beans.
That's where we got Cool Beans from, sister.
It is.
Do you remember that?
Yep. Cool Beans.
Cool Beans.
We got a lot of people saying that, actually, when we were younger.
Did. Yeah.
We were terrible people, and we just inserted things into people's minds by saying them at, like, good times.
We did.
Yeah. It was
There are a lot of things that it's like... Whoops. We kind of made those things happen. But so the dialogue is really sloppy and generic, and oh my god, Simone's dialogue is just terrible. I hate Simone's dialogue so much.
Yeah,
it's so blech.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
sound like a person would say it.
At the same time, it fits that kind of person, that overdoing it person that, you meet, especially in the arts, who's not an actual artistic person, but a hanger-on who exploits the abilities of artistic people. Okay, we'll pretend opportunist. But she's exploitative, definitely.
Yeah.
But so it's at the same time, it's moderately realistic while also being terrible and sloppy and just a caricature.
Yeah, pretty much. The next writer in the series, Anne Collins Ludwig, was by far the most prolific Nancy Drew game writer. She wrote from
so many games.
like all the way from Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake. Oh wow, we didn't even talk about Secret of the Scarlet Hand with
I didn't want to.
Yeah, true.
I purposely did not cover that one.
Anne Collins Ludwig did all the way from Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake up until Trail of the Twister.
Which I feel like when you get towards the end of that, it's like, oh, okay, she felt the end was coming. But we'll start towards the beginning. Ones that I felt were... I listed the ones that I felt were worth mentioning.
Yeah. So there are some games that just aren't... Like, there are some on here that you didn't list that I would like to list.
Okay.
Creature of Kapu Cave is one that I would put in that makes zero sense. Like there are some of these like make very little sense. Like you say, I would put it in with Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon and Danger by Design, which are just, they're weird. They make little sense, but they are at least interesting.
Yeah.
It's like I kind of get invested in what's going on. At the end of the game, it doesn't make very much sense, but I had fun along the way.
Those of you in the chat can maybe see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wrote a ton of notes on all of these things, so I thought very long and hard about this shit. But yeah, you'll notice that I skipped Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake, and I also skipped Haunted Carousel.
Because they don't have very much to them. They were warm-up games. Warm-ups.
They were definitely warm-ups.
They were warm-ups.
Because then she immediately goes into Danger on Deception Island. Oh, no, it might have been Shadow Ranch. I did get a little bit confused in these ones, and I accidentally wrote the wrong order.
I can't remember which one comes first.
It may be Shadow Ranch.
But either one.
Either way.
They're both good.
They're both good. So we've got, out of all of hers, Shadow Ranch and Crystal Skull are ones that we find the least flaws with. When I was writing them, I find the least flaws with.
Good plots, motives that mostly make sense.
Yeah.
I'm going to say mostly make sense.
Shorty, not 100%, but I do understand that he's motivated by wanting to get, money. The gold. I don't understand the whole
mineral thing.
But
it at least they have good dialogue, good characters. I mean, there are every game has someone who's bland, and in this case, in Shadow Ranch, it's our cowboy friend Dave.
It's our cowboy Dave.
He doesn't have very much personality other than being cute cowboy. And you know what? We forgive that because he's a cute cowboy.
There are those guys that exist, and it's like, oh, what's he like? He is a cute cowboy. That's it.
He's good to his mama.
He's good to his mama.
I mean, like both of those games, very good. We enjoy them quite a bit.
Yes.
Danger on Deception Island, we're just gonna go down a little bit. It's a good game. It has a great story, but the dialogue is just...
It's terrible. The characters are inexplicable, honestly. Yeah. Like, the only one that I can honestly see redeeming qualities in is obviously Hilda. Yeah. She's fantastic, and I see zero flaws in her other than the fact that she's a crazy person living alone on an island. But no, I will not see that as a flaw. Because I appreciate that in a person.
I see that as goals, not flaws.
Life goals. But everybody else, it's like, why are you doing this?
Who was bland in Danger by Design? Heather.
Honestly, I think they're all fairly bland.
They're all very flat. I think that's my issue with the characters. Very flat,
which is my thing. It's not so much that they lack personality, so much as they lack originality, I think, is my thing.
I think some of them are just a list of quirks.
Yeah. Like, what's his face?
Chalknard?
Yes. What's his thing? Oh, well, he's,
French.
Eccentric and French, and he's moderately flamboyant, and it's like, okay.
Dieter is a photographer.
Dieter, and that's the sad... Dieter's the one that makes me sad, because it's like...
He actually liked her.
He's just a simple boy. He's doing his best. I liked her so much. And it's just like, oh, sweet baby. Bud. You're gonna get screwed over by all kinds of smart people. And so yeah, and JJ just pisses me off.
You don't like Xing Xing Ling.
I hate JJ, and I can't 100% tell you why. She's that personality that really grates with me.
Really? Because she reminds me a lot of one of your best friends.
Yeah, Sarah? Yeah,
Yes.
She definitely reminds me of Sarah.
She reminds me very much of Sarah.
But at the same time, not the Sarah that I love.
Ah, yes. Very true.
Yeah. I love my best friends, but then I also know that if I were to meet them outside of my life, I would not like them. I don't know how to explain that.
Yeah. You had a lot of years, working up to them being who they are at this point. So
yeah, I
was a
found them endearing. JJ, you just come straight in and it's like, fuck you.
Pretty much. I mean, I feel like the same feeling about like Last Turn of Blue Moon Canyon. It's like everyone's just kind of like their personalities, but they're I mean, they're just not compelling. Yeah. And I was very disappointed about Charlena herself.
I was super disappointed about Charlena because it's like, I don't know, we built her up to be this thing, and it's like, oh.
And I was like, oh, she's she's not very interesting.
I think I built her up to be Tamora Pierce in my brain.
Yeah.
And then like I met Tamora Pierce and she was awesome. And then I met Charlene Purcell and she was not.
Yeah.
You know?
So those are
and then let's see.
Haunting of Castle Malloy.
Haunting of Castle Malloy. Haunting of Castle Malloy is an enigma. I feel like I've used that word a lot tonight, but at the same time, it's an interesting game. It has an interesting backstory, but everything else is weird.
It's just kind of odd.
I can't put my finger on it.
There's just some stuff that just never really made sense to me, and it was very insensitive.
To the Irish troubles.
Yeah, which always kind of bothered me. But
see, I wonder why Janelle doesn't like English people.
I don't know. It's crazy. It's like we're in Ireland or something.
It's weird. It's like Ireland has some troubles with English? That can't be right?
No. And then the fact that they make the one actual Irish character.
Right.
The actual Irish character into a drunk. That's incredibly offensive. And like his entire theme music is called Drops of Brandy. So
yeah.
It's just a little offensive. And old lady jetpacks. Just that being a plot point.
Old lady jetpacks. And
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
That pretty much
encapsulates the weirdness, I think.
I feel like that's probably the part that I couldn't quite put my finger on. Old lady jetpacks.
Where's she getting the fuel for it? After, 80 years or so. Or what? Not 80 years, you know what I mean? 50.
But yeah. So those are the problems that I have with what's her name?
Fiona?
No, the writer.
Oh, Anne Collins Ludwig.
So then we go into the era of Nick Blanca.
Well, we didn't cover Warnings at Waverly
Academy.
I'm
sorry. I apologize.
Warnings at
Waverly Academy and Trail of the Twister.
Yeah. Okay. So now we go on to...
No. Okay. So it's like, what the fuck was happening here, sweetheart?
Yeah.
Again, I feel like this is her seeing the end of the tunnel, and she's like, whatever, man.
Yeah. Trail of the Twister is literally one of my least favorite games. It's forgettable. It's boring. It's literally, it feels like a chore to play the game. It is
100% a chore. And then Warnings at Waverly Academy, as much as I like it, it's still weird and it's off kilter, and it's like, what am I doing here? Who are these people? These aren't people.
Has so many plot holes that I covered while I was playing it. First of all, Kim and Rachel will not get over that. Makes no sense. Hate it. Second, what is Corinne going to do with that manuscript? Why is she doing all of this shit for that manuscript?
In all
this doesn't make any sense. Why is she's literally trying to scare off the valedictorian, not because she wants to be valedictorian, but because she wants them away so she can get the manuscript.
Yeah.
It's like there was almost a reason, an actual motive, and then they decided to not go with that.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's how we feel about those games. So now, moving on.
Okay.
To the era of
Nick Blahunka.
So
I don't know how to say his last name.
Me neither. So we're just going to call him Nick.
Nick here is real depressing.
Real depressing. Like, the majority of the games that he did were depressing. Had
really, though?
Some sort of depressing element to them.
In all fairness, are some of my favorite games. But
yeah, I mean,
it's like, dude, are you okay?
Like, I feel like with his games, we started out with some really good actual fleshed out stories and more fleshed out characters. We got some more interesting humor to go along with them. Jokes that actually hit, made me actually laugh.
Yeah, I feel like he definitely hit more of our demographic of weird, darkly humored, kind of sad people.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of like the older Nancy Drew fans. Like,
yeah, 100%. That's what I meant by our
generation. But I also feel like the other things that came with his writing were the dialogue just starts feeling like we're in an episode of Gilmore Girls. Everyone's talking really fast. They're really witty. They have all the right things to say, and there's a bunch of pop culture references.
In all fairness, Nancy takes forever to say things, so they have forever
you have to think of a witty retort.
You have to think of something, yeah.
Yep. Except for Takai, who does not have any time because it takes
Which is why she's never witty.
True. Like, it starts out with
my husband would have loved you because he liked people who asked questions. Too many questions. This is like a backhanded compliment, but thank you.
Pretty much. Like,
I discovered on my playthrough, I do deeply love Takai. Like, shit. This bitch.
But Shadow at Water's Edge is where we start getting a very, like, in my opinion, in all of the games, this is the most fleshed out plot in
100.
any of the games. It actually has a full story. Things make sense. I don't like some of the things that they make sense, but I like that they make sense.
And it doesn't only make sense in the things that they actually legitimately tell us, but it's also the things that they don't tell us. It's very interesting. One of the things that I think is interesting about Nick's writing is he does a lot of telling us without telling us. So there's the things that we have personally inferred, the things that we have inferred from his writing, like in Shadow at Water's Edge, the things that Reese and I have inferred, which is that, you know,
Marianne, not Marianne.
There's that.
Kasumi.
But no, I mean, Kasumi was suicidal.
Yeah.
And it was very depressed. She was very depressed and all of that stuff. And so it's a lot of saying things without saying things. He's very good at just hinting at this stuff with certain nuanced writings. It's very interesting.
And everyone takes a different thing from a lot of his games as well. Specifically with Shadow at Water's Edge, a lot of people don't agree with us. They think it was just an accident.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
In which case, it's very interesting that she just predicted that accident.
Yeah.
Because she was very prepared for it.
Yeah,
she was like, if this happened, then I'm sorry.
Yeah. You know, I am very prepared to accidentally slip on the rocks and then drown.
But yeah. So there's a lot of things that are said without saying them, and I like that so much.
Some of the other games,
and Tomb.
Yeah, Tomb of the Lost Queen has some great characters, but then some not great characters. Some good dialogue, some bad dialogue.
They're all okay. What do you think aren't great characters?
Lily.
At the same time, though, she's a very real person. We've known her. We haven't known Lily's.
But I just feel like they're not. If I'm gonna have a character in something, I don't want it to be that her.
I feel like Risa doesn't like this character because it resonated too much with who she was at the time. Ow! She's flipping me off. Do you guys see this? Oh no, the listeners don't see shit. No, but I feel like they're very fleshed out characters, and it's a great concept. But honestly, my favorite thing about it, other than the fact that it's in Egypt and I love Egyptology, so there's that. But my favorite thing is Jamila's family history that we get.
Yeah.
That is fucking great. Also, just Jamila in general.
Giving us that character.
Everything for me.
I love her.
I think she's
we also get to talk to Hotchkiss in this game.
We do. This is one of our Hotchkiss games,
which is A+. We start kind of faltering a little bit. Deadly Device. It's a game.
It's fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy the Tesla parts. I enjoy.
That's not how physics
works.
Brian.
It's not how physics
any works. Of that works.
It's not.
I'm still trying to get Andrew to do that one with me, but he says definitely absolutely not. So let's
really hits me in the science. It makes me very upset because if nothing else, I may not be super scientific, but electricity is something that I very much understand. That is my thing. And
yes. Okay, just side note, really funny.
The resonator. Sorry.
When I was making Andrew play this with me, and it comes to the Faraday cage part and everything, and he goes, "It'd be really interesting if they put you in a Faraday cage. I wonder what would happen." Because my entire life have been very, very sensitive to electricity and magnets, and no one has ever been able to explain why. It was like, if I was a biophysicist, I would love to do tests on you.
In actuality, your boyfriend is a biophysicist, and he has just been pretending so that he can do tests on you.
No.
You need to look around. Your apartment and see what he's.
Then he's going really deep undercover with the astronomy aspect because it's like
he's like, I'll do papers, fine.
Yeah, I know. It's like he's been published. I'm so undercover. I've been published with my fake concepts.
He actually makes those in Photoshop. He's like, look, I was published. But so that's where we start to draw the line where we're like, no, Nick, don't. So basically, Nick, don't touch science. Actually, I think is my thing here because story aspects, Nick has a great grasp.
I think he has a good grasp on family dynamics.
Family dynamics,
that's
character
his
study. He definitely has people.
Yes.
So he shouldn't touch science at all. Just keep away from it.
Just
stop touching my science.
Stick with people. I think is the best thing to do. Because next one goes to Thornton Hall, like we were talking about earlier tonight, last episode. You know, it's a good, A+ game. Weird, depressing, fleshed out characters, intriguing dialogue. It goes all the way.
It's because it is more of a character piece than anything else. And in that, it's a great character piece. It is a super character piece. It's great in how people interact. It's great in how society reacts to certain individuals. It's great in looking at what kind of society Southern people are. You know, that was a bad way of wording it, but you know what I mean. It's great. All of that is wonderful. Just don't touch science.
Yeah, because then we get into Silent Spy, which Ariana just says, let's call it a draw, but I'm more in depth. Half the characters were interesting. Half of them were not. I just don't care. I couldn't get myself to care about Kate as a person because I felt like she just was terrible.
In all fairness,
I felt more bad for the people who lost Kate than I felt any sort of actual emotion for Kate. Like, that's where I'm putting it. The story made little sense. The dialogue was mostly okay and interesting. I liked the stuff that went on the family dynamics with Carson and Ned and Nancy. That's what I liked best about the game.
That was good. I like Carson, Ned, Nancy, and Moira. I honestly could not, for the life of me, remember what's his fuck.
Ewan?
From the Ewan.
Alec?
I remember Alec. Thank you, Alex. Shit, don't really remember. In fact, actually, it's Alec and Ewan that I really don't get in the game. I understand Samantha Quick, whatever her. I understand her, and I get her motives and everything like that. So all that's great. It's the dudes that I don't get. Those
Zoe
two.
Wolf. That's what it is.
Zoe.
Zoe Wolf. Bridget.
It's not her real name either, so I don't really care. But Spy Girl. So all of those people I like, and sorry, I have the hiccups now, and I understand and all that shit. But Alec and Ewan, I'm like, they could have not been here, and I would have been fine. But at the same time, I guess Ewan is the bad guy.
Yeah. I think it would have been better if it had actually just been. No, wait. I'll save it. I'll save it for when we talk about Spy.
For when we talk about Spy? Okay.
I have a crackpot theory.
All right.
But then it just dropped off. It dropped off a cliff. It dropped off a cliff and fell onto rocks, and we got washed away. Because Shattered Medallion and Labyrinth of Lies make no sense.
Okay. Once again, I can at least defend. Okay, no, they're definitely.
You cannot defend Shattered Medallion.
They're character based. It's just he stopped caring about storylines.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Like these ones, I remember characters from Labyrinth of Lies. Everything else is weird, but I remember the characters. And I definitely remember everything about Shattered Medallion because the characters are great and the story makes zero sense, but the characters are wonderful and just like fleshed out, and they don't understand their surrounding any more than we do. They are just as in the dark as we are. But
yeah.
Labyrinth of Lies, honestly, I have zero excuses for.
It's just bad. It's bad.
I don't understand it.
I'm sorry. It's bad. It makes no sense. Any of what they're doing, none of it makes sense. So he started off really, really strong and then ended really just
which seems to be a thing for the two of them who have been long-term writers.
Yep.
He went on to do, because I found his LinkedIn actually, and he went on to another, because honestly I wanted to make sure that it was the right gender that I was referring to. So he went on to do more video game stuff. He seems to be doing very happily. But it's just like, I don't know what happened here. He seemed less motivated to actually, have a coherent storyline.
Pretty much.
So.
And then that brings us to just our last writer so far, Katie Kaironis, who did Sea of Darkness and was supposed to be the writer for Midnight in Salem. She wrote out an entire first draft of the script, and then she was let go with all of the other people on the writing and art departments that were let go. What was it, 3 years ago now?
Shit, man. Yeah, I get no, less.
That was
less
2015,
than that,
so it's almost 3.
Yeah.
It's almost 3 years ago at this point. So
2.5.
Sea of Darkness is a thing. I think that
I don't remember. I'm going to be honest here. I don't remember a majority of it. Like, I remember the characters existing. I remember there being very interesting dialogue. I remember the dog.
Yep.
And that's
definitely.
It. Like, story-wise, I don't remember any of it.
Okay. So, dialogue was okay. Their motivations made no sense.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, everyone treated me like an outsider because I came from another town, so I kidnapped Magnus and
forced him
Like, did
Look
I
for
kept
treasure.
I stopped him from looking for treasure so I could find the treasure. I don't. It all gets really. It just gets really fuzzy.
Everybody treat me like an outsider, so I did something kind of vague. It's not really clear. Just put on a different sweater, and maybe people will be okay with you.
Yeah, I mean, and then the weird relationship stuff with Ned, which was like, I don't know, I didn't like it because
I feel like they're forcing weird. They started forcing weird relationship stuff with Ned.
on Captive Curse.
Yeah, from there. I don't know. It's weird shit that I don't know. Because they realized that people were starting to question, and then they also realized at some point that that Ned and Nancy were kind of an off again in the books,
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh, you know what, it's okay if we kind of have them sort of on the rocks, but then they were like, no, this has to be a fucking established relationship, so
And
they couldn't really.
Part of it is just because the people on the forums were just really, really strongly against anyone other than Ned. If there were games where anyone else flirted with Nancy and we couldn't talk to Ned, people were up in arms about it. Like, holy shit, people were so upset. People got really
crazy.
Weird.
People are cray.
They can be.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it got really weird in Sea of Darkness, because for me, they made him kind of emotionally manipulative with some of it, and that was very out of character for Ned.
He was super.
He's never been like that before, and so it just becomes this weird, like, you like snooping more than you like me, and it's like,
yeah, it was the opposite of what I like from Ned.
Yeah.
What I like about Ned is that he's honestly, okay, I'm gonna say it. What I like about Ned is that he's too good for Nancy. He's this super sweet, super pure dude. And then, like, I don't know, it was weird. It was off kilter. I didn't like it.
It just didn't fit, especially after Silent Spy being so recent.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the character development we got with that, having this happen just like 4 games later, or like 3 games later even.
Mm-hmm. It's weird.
And it's just a complete turnaround.
And as much as I hate me some Ned C, I love me some Ned. So
yeah,
it's weird,
and it's just awkward. I don't know. I don't like it. That's part of my huge issue.
Sorry, reading all the side stuff in chat.
So that's where we are, and that's how we feel. What if we were going to pick a favorite writer? Who would we pick?
I guess I would pick Nick Blahanka, maybe.
Yeah, I think most of my favorite games happen in his era, so I'm gonna have to say Nick.
Like, don't get me wrong.
He has some of the worst games and some of the best games.
Yeah, he's a real hit and miss dude. Although honestly, Anne Collins Ludwig is more hit and miss because it's like
she has some really, really awesome ones.
I fucking hate some of them. It's like girl.
I just say, that's my takeaway from it. That those two have been some of the best stuff and some of the worst stuff, and everyone else has been pretty much in the middle. Because, oof, that same person who wrote, Shadow Ranch and Crystal Skull wrote Ransom of the Seven Ships. And
man,
Trail of the Twister.
In all fairness, again, that was at the very end of her reign, and it was like,
shit. I don't care anymore.
It was like, oh, we're gonna let you go, but we contractually need you to put out two more. So
is that what happened, or is it just?
That is honestly I kind of want to talk to writers now. I kind of want to interview writers. I kind of want to interview at least those two, Nick and Anne.
Yeah.
I kind of want to interview them. I kind of feel like reaching out to them.
I mean, you can.
I might. This might happen, and I will let you know if that happens.
Even if it's just a blog interview, right, over writing,
like a very basic thing. I kind of want to interview them and find out what was going on with them
for those games.
For those games, yeah, exactly. Because it's like, I don't know, there are certain games that are like, damn, those are fucking hitting it, and then there's those games that it's like, what were you smoking, brother? Like, what is happening here?
Pretty much.
Yes, I want to get them on the podcast. That would be lovely. Ideally, I would like to interview a couple of people.
Yeah, we would love to interview some people. I tried to reach out to Little Jackalope and Tess, and I never got any response.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's fine.
It was like, that was a reach. That was a reach. And I wouldn't be surprised if reaching out to writers brought no results. I would imagine that there's a certain
I know one person had to sign an NDA. Yeah. One certain writer had to sign an NDA, but then vague tweeted about things as well, which I might talk about after this episode on the stream.
Yeah,
we might talk about some things. But yes. So if you guys think that we're completely wrong and we picked the wrong writers to like, you're wrong, objectively. But
objectively, you're wrong.
Objectively, those are bad games. Anyway. But we'd love to hear from you anyway. We always love to hear from you guys. It always puts a smile on my face, at least. See the smile. Okay, so please let us know.
Keep going,
you weirdo.
Keep going. Don't pay attention to me.
Oh, okay. So please just hit us up on YouTube, SoundCloud, Twitter, Tumblr.
The voices in my head.
I don't know. We might be other places. I can't think of it right now. Twitch, actually, just show up to one of our streams and just tell us we're wrong. Hey, I was listening to your podcast.
Actually, please don't call us bitches. Please start by saying, ladies. Yeah. That's how we'll know. That's how we'll know you're serious.
I might ban you for just calling me a bitch.
Well, I don't know.
Hammer. No, that's not true.
that's honestly, we ain't give a shit.
No. But yes, so do all of that.
We are completely wrong about the Trail of the Twister.
So yeah, hit us up. And I am Risa.
I am Ariana. I had drink in my mouth.
She's finishing her drink. And we're the Krolmeister sisters, and we're asking you guys to stay sleuthy.